Good morning, everybody. My name is Ellman-Brown, and I am firstly a classical ballet teacher, but I'm also an examiner and a tutor. I grew up in Zimbabwe, and I was a dancer with the National Ballet of Zimbabwe, and I came to Australia in 2003. But I've been examining now since 1999, which is long before many of you were born. I used to teach Miss Lucinda, and she asked me today to give you a couple of tips on exams, because we see a lot in exams of the same thing happening, and I hope I can give you a few tips that might help you to enjoy your exam, but also that might help you with the running of the exam and things that we often see students forget to do or slip up on. So firstly, I want to talk about your preparations. Make sure, particularly for your first couple of exercises, that you know your preparations. And this is not necessarily because it's going to affect your marks, but it affects your confidence. So if you're unsure, particularly of the plie exercise, where you might have to start straight away with the music, and if you're not confident, it sets you up being unsure and might affect the whole exercise or even the whole bar. So try and be very confident of your preparations and introductions so that you can be confident in what you're showing. Sometimes the examiner says ready and, which usually means that the preparation starts straight away. So for example, your plie in grade 2, it's a ready and your arms go first to second, hand on the bar, arm down, so that you're really ready and confident. But remember, if you do make a mistake, don't worry about it. Let it go. Don't let it affect the whole of your exam. It's only one mistake, and we all make mistakes. I make them all the time. So if you do make a mistake, let it go and try and continue the rest of your exam with confidence, because sometimes mistakes don't even count. If you do the wrong arm, if you do an arm in third instead of fourth, but you do it really well and confidently, you actually won't lose a mark. If you don't know what you're doing throughout the whole exam or the whole exercise, that is going to affect your technique marks. But one or two mistakes here and there are not a problem. So try and be confident in what you're doing. And if you make a mistake, just smile and pretend that the other person's wrong, not you. Also be confident with how you finish an exercise. So if you finish it in a position, are you going to close and then run away to the side, or are you just going to run away? Try and be confident. If you're not sure, ask your teacher. What do they want you to do at the end of an exercise? So an exercise might finish in a pose. How are you going to close and run away? When you are performing, you want to use your examiner as part of your audience. So staring at her all the time is not great, but also ignoring her is not good. You want to sometimes look at her, sometimes look out. You want to imagine that you're dancing on a stage and you've got a big audience that you're trying to perform for, not just one person. Sometimes look at her, but sometimes look out as if you're looking at a whole audience. I'm sure many of you have danced on stage and you want to pretend that you're standing there in the spotlight and showing the whole audience your work. Make sure that, as I said, you know how to exit. So you will have done your run-in with your teacher and good morning to your examiner and perhaps to the person doing your music. And the examiner will then check your names and tell you to go and put your things down and come to the bar or come to the center. But at the end of the exam, make sure you know when the examiner says, thank you, girls, after your reverence, are you just going to run away? Are you going to say thank you to your examiner? Make sure that you know what you're going to do so that you look confident all the time. When you are coming from the side to the center to do an exercise, make sure you run or walk like you're entering or exiting the stage. You want to create an impression right from the beginning that you are a dancer. And it can make that little bit of difference. If I see a dancer really running on and getting ready, and I'm tossing up between maybe 2 marks, it might be the thing that pushes me to the top mark. But also it's really good training for you as a dancer when you're running on and off stage, because running and walking as a ballerina is hard. So you want to really practice it in your classes, and it can make a difference. Particularly the older you get, the more important it is. All right, you don't want to walk on like you're doing the shopping in Aldi. You really want to make the impression that you're a dancer. For the older students in particular, try and show different expression according to the exercises. So your plie exercise, you might look very serene with a gentle smile, but your battement glissé exercise or your petit allegro is going to have a bright sparkle. You want to have differing expressions, not the same all the way through. All right, so you don't want to grin from beginning to end. You want to show different expression in your body as well as in your face. And it's really important because using expression in your body and your face actually helps your technique look even better. Again, for senior students, with friange-chaimont, try and relax. Everybody freezes when it comes to friange-chaimont. So relax, listen to what the examiner's asking you for, try and remember your steps and just listen to the sequence. And as I said, if you go wrong, let it go. Don't let it ruin your variation, your point work and everything else. Just let it go. You can get upset when you leave the room, but in the room, try and think, forget about it, it's done. Even professional dancers make mistakes, so don't let it ruin everything else that you're about to do. You start to get very tired, those of you doing point work, so really, really pull up your legs when you get onto point. If your ankle's wobbling, it's not your ankle, it's your legs that aren't pulled up. And the more tired you get, the more soggy your legs get. So really fully stretch them. Perhaps that's something you can practice with Miss Lucinda. If you're doing any balances, and often there's a balance at the beginning in the plie exercise, really focus your eyes because that helps you balance. If you practice standing on one leg with your eyes closed, you'll see how your eyes affect your balance. So really use your eye focus and try and help stabilize your balance. And if you wobble, just come down, make it look good. All right, that's my catchphrase, is make it look good. When it comes to your music, listen very carefully to your music. You want to try and respond to the music. Don't let it be something in the background that just kind of plays. Really listen to the music and try and show the poetry of the music in your body. All right, you want to really be part of the music. It's not something that's just there playing. I think the biggest thing I want you to think about when you're doing your exam is imagine it as a performance rather than an exam. Go in there and give the examiner a lovely time. If you think of it as a performance, yes, you'll be a bit nervous, but that can also be excitement. But you want to really perform and show your very best. So go in there. Every examiner wants you to succeed. We're not there to trip you up. We want you to do your best. So really try and show all your work to the best of your ability and view it as a performance rather than an exam. Good luck, and I hope that you really have a lovely time and enjoy your experience. I look forward to hearing from Miss Lucinda how you all went. Take care. Bye-bye.